And we're live! On the Twitch. .tv/the Xisuma, playing on the Hermitcraft, looking for a place to dig. Got my beacon fresh right here. Let's fly over this way. I'm waiting for bananas in chat, but it's quiet at the moment. Right, one of these. I think it's that one. There you go, it's the first one. Right, I'm slightly suspicious as to how there's nothing in chat at the moment. My chat actually loaded. Should be loaded. Looks like it's loaded. There it goes. Maybe Twitch was slow sending notifications out today. Oh, we've got Deep Slate here. That's what we're looking for. Thank you for the bananas, Ash. Lets me know that we're live. And it looks like we're good to go. Okay, let's go ahead and do a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Actually, what I need. Oh, I'm so glad I remembered this early. I desperately need that. We wouldn't want to repeat what happened last time, right? Welcome to the peeps tuning in. We are mining Deep Slate today. An activity I've done a bunch of times, as we need to do more building in the Evil Empire. So we need to gather those materials, right? And you know what? I need some lights, some torches to throw down. Let's get right on that. 11? God, I always seem underprepared. We've got coal. We've got 2 sticks. We've got 39 in that one. And do you know what else we've got around here? Get some coal that way. I tend to silk touch all the stuff like this that I find, so my coal supply has slowly been diminishing over the season. Welcome to chat, everyone. What happens to the diamonds that you get in Evil Empire? Does they go to Evil X or to you? Oh, they're Evil X's. He provides us with derp coins, and then we can use derp coins to buy stuff. Because you know, it's much better to buy stuff with derp coin. If you look at how cheap stuff is with derp coin, it's so many better deals are available than with diamonds. So Evil X keeps all of the diamonds in exchange for the wonderful economy that he's created with the derp coin, which is fantastic. Grian sells Deep Slate, Mr. X, says YT Nexus. Yeah, but he only he charges diamonds for them, which are useless. So, I mean, I'm all about the derp coin over here. Evil X has shown us the light, you know. Marnicked, thank you ever so much for 4 months. Appreciate it. Benedict says you can trade the derp coin for diamond ores. It's even better. Exactly. You can literally buy diamonds with derp coin, but no one's buying it because it's useless. You know? This stuff right here. I mean, I still collect it, but it's not got much value, has it? It'd be cool if you could just find some derp coin out here in the wild, you know? Go derp coin mining. Doc will be selling it soon, says Spiraling Shape. Yeah, hopefully Doc will exchange Deep Slate for derp coin. Then I'll be a happy customer. Jens Steige, thank you so much for 3 months of support, my dude. Appreciate it. Baitan Daniel says, derp coin found in the wild, placed by Evil X, no less. Oh, I don't know about that. Evil X wouldn't go around placing random derp coins. I don't know. That guy moves in mysterious ways, what can I say? Who knows how the brain of a genius really works, right? Hey, we got Lockie Finley here with a Prime. We got Vedect Lai here with a Prime. And Becca's gifting a sub to Floyn. Becca, thank you as always for gifting those subs. Appreciate you doing that. And Floyn, be sure to say thanks in chat. Goodness me. Whew, it is a little bit hot in here. To think, just a couple of days at this time of day, it would have been about 7 degrees warmer. I mean, I do not mix with hot weather well, but it's getting a little bit sweaty in here. What can I say? X calling himself a genius. Okay, I see you. No, don't get me confused. Okay, it's two separate people. I mean, can't you tell? The voice sounds so different. I'm always amazed at people that think me and Evil X are the same, you know? What is the plan for today? Says Specifically Odd. That is specifically odd that you would ask me that question. I'm skeptical now that you even want to know. With a username like that. Oh, suspicion has been arisen. In me, I think. No, it sounded cool when I said it. The plan for today is to mine Deep Slate and talk to the peeps in chat and answer messages. And say thanks to people who make noises in my ear, like Soundwave Hope, who's here for 18 months. Thank you ever so much. Sea Turtle is gifting a sub to Q-Stark. Thank you so much for that gifted sub. And Q-Stark, be sure to say thanks in chat. Deep Slate and Pathing, says Baitan Daniil. Baitan Daniil. Showing off. Oh, I can read the title of the Twitch stream. Jeez, you think you're so clever. I mean, it does say exactly what I plan on doing, so you've got that. You've got that to help you if ever you need to ask a question about what we're up to. We got Ikazu here, gifting subs to JJ Stribik, Jupiter Van Best, Lizard Dempera, Real Wuju Master, and MJ Fellows. Thank you for gifting those subs, and if you heard your name being out loud, be sure to say thanks to Ikazu in chat. We always appreciate the support. Hello there in Scar's voice. Well, hello there, my fellow hermits and crafters. I can't get the accent in there. That's the thing with that one. Diamonds! Woo! We just found diamonds, Pete. Look, we just found diamonds. Awesome. How cool is that? Oh man, let's go dig up these diamonds, right? Who's ready to dig up some diamonds? Okay. Press the button. Let's press 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of like close to the border, which concerns me. Also, when we were digging a minute ago, did we find them? I think we found them literally there, so I think we've already picked them up. I think we already have these diamonds. If not, we might get an extra helping. Nah, I think we got them. Yeah, we got those. They got is what they got. Black Steel, thank you ever so much for your cheers and biddies. You or Pearl is my favourite hermit. Do you know what? You can have 2 favourite hermits. That's one of the great things about Hermitcraft, okay? You're not limited to one favourite hermit. You can have multiple favourites. What a beautiful thing that is. Thank you for the cheers and bits. Soul TV, thank you for the 3 months. Appreciate it. We also got Armitage57 here subscribing. Thank you, Armitage. Armitage. Sounds like an old school name. Every now and then, like, God, I encounter so many names on the internet, right? Every now and then you encounter a name that reminds you of someone from back in the day. I think I might have had a bit of nostalgia today, though, because I was watching a fan-made Hermitcraft video. I watched quite a few of those, and let me tell you this, okay? As someone who is here from day one, there is a lot of historical accuracies, okay? I appreciate these fan videos, but, like, reach out. Reach out and ask a question, because there's, like, a lot of the past is now really muddy and people retell the story. Maybe that's just me, though, like, being a bit too fussy. I mean, maybe it's not a big deal, but I know what's happened on Hermitcraft, so yeah, anyway, so I was watching this fan video, right, and then, you know, that was reminding me of all these old school peeps like Red Eyes. So there's a theory that Red Eyes has returned to YouTube just to put timestamps in his videos. But actually, I think what happened is that he always had timestamps before YouTube made it into a feature. So some of old Red Eyes' videos have now got chapters in them. But it's not because he's returned, it's because they added a feature which sort of coincided with what he already did, right? He already put timestamps in his little description box. I saw someone say Hermitcraft GeoGuessr and I'm slowly studying coding and modelling to make it work. Please send help, says Ikazu. I was tweeting with the person who's already started doing that now and making a Hermitcraft GeoGuessr. But you know, if you've got the ambition to code, like I've been listening to some podcasts with coders recently, and the common thing is like, if you want to learn how to code, you need to have a reason to. You need to like know what it is you're trying to make. So if you've got an idea of something that can be achieved with code, that's a great way to get into coding. And I was reflecting back on when I did air quotes coding. Okay, so Xisuma, not a hacker, okay, not a clever clogs, not one of those smarty pants writing code that does clever things, no. I was just playing an online game and trying to find ways to like play with multiple accounts and, you know, kind of cheese parts of the game so you could play it at like a power level. The equivalent of doing like an AFK farm on this game, right? And it was kind of accepted because I think for the most part it was the kind of game that was a sort of cash cow game where they had a few players spending a lot of money on it and those players had multiple accounts and so they never really cracked down on it. It just kind of became the culture of the game. If you didn't have multiple accounts, you were going to get nowhere in the game. Anyway, so like me and a friend who used to play it would figure out all this kind of like cheeky ways to make things a little easier. And so I learned like how to read HTML and then how to manipulate it. I created my own little HTML pages which acted as tool sets, so it had like a bunch of links on it, and then I had to learn how to do like HTTP intercepting and create like clever links that could log you in like without having to go to a login screen and do stuff with cookies and all that kind of like basic level hacky stuff. I wouldn't say I learned to code, but I learned how to like get some things done. And I always look back at that and I was like, yeah, that was pretty good that I did that, because I was, you know, being like active and engaged. Benrick, thank you ever so much for the subscription. Akazu says, back when I was 9ish, I had to write thousands of lines of code for a class and I wanted to cry. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a terribly fun way. Like, if you've got a reason to code, that's... You know, you got a motivation, and then the problem solving becomes interesting. Whereas if you're just learning to learn for the sake of like passing a test, I can see how that isn't terribly exciting. Is it tea we're sipping? Yes. Yes, Trap Diggity. You and I are sipping tea. Oh, you better not be lying about sipping a tea when I'm sipping a tea, right? Oh, wait, I zoomed the wrong way. Go. Right, back to normal. Flipping Bats, thank you for the prime, appreciate it. Yeah, I got a hot cup of tea right here. Hot cup of tea. I have coffee, says Spaghetti Buddy. I had coffee yesterday, coffee and donuts. And I gotta say, it was alright. I always like the idea of having some coffee and donuts. Last time I had some, it was great. Not so much this time, I don't know. Like stuff that's like treats and air quotes naughty food or whatever, the less healthy stuff. I don't know. I've indulged with some of it quite a bit now. I just sort of don't care as much. I think I'm just sort of going through a phase of being less air quotes obsessed with food. I don't know why. I bet you got a sugar high from eating donuts. I didn't actually, because I got them unsugared. I really love donuts unsugared. They're so nice. I love just the doughy taste. Like, it's really good. It's like a savoury. It's kind of like having a pastry, right? Like a croissant. But it's a bit kind of like thicker and a bit more tasteful. Croissants are on the light side, but I like croissants. Like an almond croissant is really nice. Have you ever made donuts? I have not. I've made my own pancakes, but not donuts. You should definitely look into that. X, do you have any tips for students? Not really, because I was never a good student. So, don't be like me. That's my tip for being a student. Sourdough donut. I do not believe it was sourdough. I had a sourdough grilled sandwich on Sunday, and that was, yeah, a different taste. Flipping Bits. I don't know if I read it or not, but thank you ever so much for the prize. I think I did read that one, actually. Donuts are fun to make, but they're a pain in the butt. Croissants are just the best. Oh my god. Just plain the best. Crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, buttery delicious, says Darfanalis. Sounds like you have access to freshly cooked croissants. Those are the best. Oh boy, I miss going on like holidays and travelling now. Because I was just thinking, like, the best time to have treats is really when you're in the right place. When I went to Rome and had the gelato there, it was like, this is the time to consume ice cream. Alright, forget a cornetto. You know, like when you're in Italy and there's gelato, that's when you eat that stuff, because that stuff's great. But it ain't like that anywhere else. Same with croissants. If you're like at an actual proper croissant factory or restaurant or whatever where they come out fresh, then that's the time to grab them. Hey X, talking about food, I made pizza from plain yogurt and flour. Cool. GG. Homemade pizza right there. Minor Anna is here for 5 months, saying sub anniversary time. I just wanted to thank you for all the content created over the years. You've been a huge inspiration not only to me but a bunch of other people as well. Hope the rest of your evening goes well too. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate you saying that, and glad you've been enjoying what we're doing over here. Liger's gifting a sub to Lil Cutie Pie. Thank you so much for gifting the sub, Liger. Appreciate you doing that. Lord Volderswag is here for 4 months. Rocking a crazy name. Volderswag, eh? I like it. The best pizza I had was in Greece, says Savvy Jones. Best pizza I've had. I'm not sure where mine was, actually. Skullinka, thank you ever so much for the prime. Appreciate it. Black Steel is here gifting subs to K Marie and Wolfbane. Appreciate you gifting those subs. If you just heard your name being read out loud, be sure to say thanks in chat. Ever had any Indian sweet? I do not recall having any kind of like Indian treats, sweets. Oh, I used the wrong thing. Oh well. I mean, emeralds are pretty much pretty much free at this point. Whew, it's sweaty in here. Alright, who wants a little bit of story time? So here's the thing. The other day I was planning my live streams, right? So I'm streaming today, I'm streaming again on Saturday, and I noticed the date. Saturday is 9/11, right? 20 years later. Oh my god, did that get me thinking. That's 2 decades from a day in the life that I think anyone who was around with living memory will remember where they were, and it gives you a moment to like reflect on what's happened over those 20 years, right? I kind of remember vaguely the 10-year anniversary coming around. Maybe this is one of those things where it's like you remember the main event, but maybe not so much like anniversaries, but like they are times of reflection. And so I'd seen that there were like documentaries on Netflix, and I was kind of like, you know, I lived through 9/11. And I say that, you know, lived through that era, not that I was there or anything. And you know, I know all of this inside out. But then when I realised that, oh my god, it's 20 years, then all of a sudden my brain ticked over, and I was like watching these documentaries, sort of almost like reliving it again and remembering it. I was unborn, says Purpura. Well, I was a young teenager at school. Here's the story. My story. And it must... I was looking at the times when watching the documentaries on like when the towers were hit, and I did a little math and I thought, yeah, it probably was the last class of our day. So like 2 to 3 was the last class of our day, and due to the 5-hour difference, it would have been a little bit into that class that the towers would have been hit. And what I remember is, like, our teacher wasn't there, and something was going on. Like, you could just sort of tell because everyone was in classrooms, but teachers weren't, and they were sort of like walking about. And then the teacher just came in and sort of went, basically said, right, we're going to send everyone home and go and watch the TV, and you will find out like what's happening and why you've been sent home. Which, on reflection, like, you could open that up to anything really. Like, that could have set off some panic. That's how I remember it going down. Maybe it wasn't quite like that. Maybe they explained that we were safe and it was fine, but we're just going to send everyone home. So I went home, and I remember the living room, right? Like, old school 90s noughties furniture, big old white. It was a widescreen TV, but it was one of those CRT type monitors with like the big vacuum on the back of it, and it was quite a big telly. It was grey around the outside, and I used to watch MTV and Limp Bizkit on it and stuff like that back in the day. Oh god. and yeah, just sat like glued to the television, just like being a bit too young to really like comprehend what I was watching. And it was like my first introduction to the term terrorism and the concept of like people out there that want to do evil things or whatever. But like, thinking back on it, I think I was just like too young to really like comprehend it properly. And so it just kind of became this weird event that happened. And I remember the following years was like, the news cycle on it was crazy. And obviously there was like war unfolding, the war on terror. And all of a sudden you knew about Al-Qaeda, Taliban, Afghanistan, all this new language and places and people, Osama bin Laden, and it was quite a heavy time. But over here in the UK, I remember the general consensus, as it were. Now, being a young person not exposed to a lot of media or people with different opinions, it's hard to say, but it kind of felt like the country didn't want to go to war over this, and there were huge rallies against sending troops over to Afghanistan and whatnot over here. And so after the event happened, the narrative very much turned to being about like war for oil and being against going over there, which is something I don't really hold myself to anymore. Back then I would have been all like, oh yeah, it's all about, you know, getting in there and getting the oil and controlling that, and right, I know how it really works. So all this terror stuff, that's just the guys. Whereas you don't know what you don't know, okay? To have an opinion on such a big and complex topic as to why war is taking place and the reasons for it, you tend to forget how little you might know about how those things work. And so where I've grown up over time and spent time investigating or listening to podcasts with people who were actually, you know, inside the American government at the time those things were happening, I realized that there's just so much I don't know about how the world operates and functions. So why am I so like drawn towards an idea like that? And I think it's just because it's so simplistic. It's so simplistic to think of things in terms of good and evil, right? So it's like, oh, you know, big evil government going to war for oil. It's just kind of a simple thing to understand. But then all of the levers that would have to be pulled for that to be true, and for something like 9/11 to be not as it seems, is just a bit much. So after that happened, after 9/11 happened, and then there was like this kickback in Europe and the UK against the war. A few years later, then the idea of the inside job kind of surfaced. I reckoned it was around like 2003, 2004, maybe even 2005, that this idea surfaced that it was an inside job. At least to me. I don't know like when that discussion first started. But I got pulled into it through watching documentaries that were distributed through torrent websites. So this would be the equivalent of like today passing around a video on YouTube, right? That's all about conspiracy or whatever. And being quite young and naive, it like really roped me in, and I kind of just went along with these, you know, these documentaries, air quotes, about it being an inside job. And it's a lesson to learn looking back on it, because I was really convinced at the time that it was an inside job. But the reason I was is because I was watching these documentaries where it's just a running narrative leading you down a path, showing you all the things to support the conclusions that it's trying to present to you. And there's not a lot of room for playing devil's advocate or skepticism or bringing on people with differing opinions. And that's something really important to do with all information and opinions you have, is seek out other ideas, right? Because without them, it's very easy just to be led down a narrative, as we tend to not be skeptical or to play devil's advocate, right? It tends to be a thing that you kind of have to learn to do and prompt yourself to do. Oh, I'm hearing a narrative here, right? I need to remind myself what could be different about this? What do I not know about this? Is there another way of seeing this information that's being shared with me, right? What are we discussing, says Hyped Geek? We're discussing 9/11 and some of the conspiracy stuff that dropped out after it. So yeah, like, and then it wasn't like for a long time, until a long time later, that I really had to like reassess my opinion on it being an inside job. And that came about from me doing streaming here on YouTube. And by having an audience listen, it made me kind of realize, you know, maybe not in one instance, but over time, that you have to think about what you say a lot more. Because there's a lot of people listening, and it's alright to sort of chat rubbish and muck about with mates, but when you're talking to a bunch of strangers online, some people might be taking what you're saying, you know, as truth. And with my interest in ignorance and how the brain can kind of trick you in the human experience, I then start to realize, you know, what do I actually know about this stuff, right? Start to measure one's own ignorance and realize that actually there's a lot of stuff that's knowable out there, and I don't know a lot of it at all. And so then, when the topic of like 9/11 comes around again, I realize that I no longer believe it's an inside job. Totally don't. The biggest point of logic I could refer to is just that it's such a big thing for it to be an inside job, right? It's such a massive thing to pull off. And if it were, you know, there would either be like a trail of bodies or people talking about it by now. And maybe one day there might, you know, maybe the narrative might turn. That's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, is we're going through a pandemic. Things are very divisive. In the future, when the dust settles, historians will look back on things, and those that try and do a diligent job and, you know, aren't trying to insert their own ideology or political agenda, they might tell a very different story about what we're currently going through. But when you're in it, it feels very different from how it might be seen historically. And I guess a little bit of that is now in the 9/11 thing. The more that time goes by, to me it feels like the conspiracy stuff has really died down. Jay Nix says, what's an inside job? The inside job is the idea that it was people inside of the government, I don't know what people or what levels, are supposedly orchestrating this event in some manner. Whether that means they knew it was going to happen and they decided not to act on it so that they could use it to pass acts like the Patriot Act. That's the sort of conspiratorial thinking, and that's what an inside job would be if it turned out to be true. One thing to point out though is that, like, a conspiracy, these things do happen. People do conspire, and conspiracies have been proven. So I'm not trying to conflate the idea of conspiracy theory just being a quack thing. Sometimes it needs to be taken legitimately. In this case, I don't think so anymore. MC Crimson King says 100% inside, and 99% of people who think don't remember 3 towers fell. Right. I would encourage you to seek out the reasons as to why a 3rd tower fell. I don't remember specifically, but I know there's things that I'd seen at the time that later on got explained by different sources, because I watched these conspiratorial videos, and they run you down a narrative, and they talk to experts, which is always great, right? Here's the thing, you can kind of find an expert with any opinion. It's absolutely crazy. Again, to take in the pandemic and some of the current issues we have with certain medical things that are going on, if you actually pay attention to what both sides are saying, they're both capable of finding people who are supposedly experts with contradictory opinions. Truth is a very difficult and complicated thing, and too often people insert their own ideas into it, and you know, you can find people with opinions on all sides. Now, one of the things that started to break down my belief in it, like before I started streaming, was talking to a friend who understood how air traffic control worked and explained that what they had said in the documentary was really not how it worked at all. And as in the documentary, they said they were talking to an expert, you know? So remember, like, this isn't me trying to say wrong or right. I'm trying to walk you through my reasoning, because the reality is all this information that we get in our lives, things we think are true or not, so much of it just is handed down person to person. We tend to learn a lot of stuff just because someone else told us this was it, you know? This is how it works. And if you think about that, yeah, we actually need that, you know. If we had to go back to square one to prove absolutely everything every single time it came up, you know, like GPS. Imagine trying to explain GPS and going back to square one. Like, it would be insane. So we have to kind of trust one another. All right, this is how GPS works. There's satellites up there, right, and they're orbiting, and you know, we ping them with our phone, and then we know where we are on the planet. Got ya, cool. Not going down to like, oh, this is how orbital mechanics works, and this is the science of sending a rocket into space, and here's the evidence of us sending it up, right? Like, we have to rely on that. We have to rely on listening to other people. So to say about the 3 towers, right, go seek out the alternative information as well. Don't be like trapped into just listening to one side of it, and don't let one thing be the linchpin as well. That being said, the thing that is the linchpin for me, I guess, if I'm using that word correctly, is the inside job idea, and like, it kind of feels like this would have been a big inside job to pull off. And so surely people would have come out and talked about it by now, or if it were an inside job, surely there would have been other people in judiciary systems who would have exposed this corruption by now. It just seems like such a, like, when something is that big to cover up, there's got to be a trail of coercion, deceit, or bodies or something, and it doesn't seem to be any of that. It doesn't seem to be any of that. Anyway, I wanted to run a poll, so let's go and fire it up. Okay, so this is the question. Do you think it was an inside job? I'm going to put yes. Actually, let's do this with percentages. Certain. Probably. Don't know. In the middle. Probably not. I say percentages, you know, you get the rough idea. You got 5 choices. Definitely not. Now, I don't want to make this political. I don't want to make it an argument. You're entitled to have your opinion. Let's be respectful of one another here. The reason I'm doing this is just to get a sense of, has this changed? And, you know, me conducting a small poll with my audience is no test or real measure of what the majority of people say. However, when I was younger and talking about this stuff, it kind of seemed like a lot of people were gravitating to the idea of it, or maybe it was like because I'm talking about it and the people that want to talk about it as well are also believing in it. You know, you get kind of in that echo chamber. You end up talking to other people who believe the same as you. But it certainly seemed like at the time it was kind of a big thing. Like, a lot of people were believing it was an inside job. So it'd be interesting just to see what all of y'all think now. JG says this is dumb. Would you like to shed light on why you believe this is dumb? or do you mean just believing it was an inside job is dumb? This is so messed up, please. This is such a horrible thing to believe, says Evermari. Like I said, let's try and just be a little bit respectful and not paint the worst of each other here, because if it turned out to be true, then all of a sudden what you were saying would become very different. Now, that's not an argument to say that it is true, but sometimes history does change later on when certain facts come to life. I don't think it's going to change. it seems like with time, to me, I hear less and less about that idea. If it had more credibility and weight, you'd kind of expect that to ramp up with time, as opposed to just fizzle out. I don't know. But anyway, I certainly no longer subscribe to that idea at all. And I remember, like, some of the arguments, like, hinged around George W. Bush, and how he reacted to it, right? And people were saying, look, they tell him in the classroom and he just sits there. He knows it's an inside job and all this, right? And that kind of reasoning is pretty silly because, well, like, you know, what exactly was said to him and how would a person deal with that? I know he's the president, but, like, he's also a human being. And imagine if someone came up to you and said, I don't know, some buildings near you have been hit by a plane, or like the gravity of learning that. I would not be surprised if I sat in shock for a few minutes before figuring out what on earth I've got to do. Maybe a better president might have jumped straight into action, but it's not a reason to say that he was in on it. I just don't believe that. How did the subject come to this topic, says Coach Bear. Well, in 2 days it will be the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And it's just, the whole thing has been spinning over in my head, just thinking back on, like, when it happened and what happened after it. Speaking of what happened after it, you know, America was very hurt and quick to go out for vengeance. And that is something I think has really hurt it ever since. Hurt the American image, and, you know, look at what happened in Afghanistan and ISIS and what it all led to. There's this quote, you know, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. And I think this is like one of those moments in history where you can say the sort of quick and rash response was very much going to hurt them again at some point, right? And that's not a judgment on American values or anything like that. I say it with respect. I just think looking back at it, you can see why people are upset and angry. That's very obvious, and that, of course, it's human and emotional to want to do something in response, but, like, sometimes we need to override our emotions and realize that they can lead us into actions and places that we actually don't want to go. And of all the politicians in Congress, that I think, you know, they then went and voted on some sort of war act to go to war against terror in Afghanistan. Only one politician stood up against that, and they received a lot of abuse as a result of this. Which is, again, I can understand why they would receive that. I don't think it's right to abuse people in that way, but very emotional time. I mean, oh god, the images from 9/11, like the one that chokes me up is when you see people like just jumping off the building. That brings me to tears every time. Like, just the magnitude of that situation where they know this is it and they choose to jump. That's some gravity right there. Just, god, it's difficult to watch that stuff. Very difficult. Let's have a look. So, most of you say probably not with 43%. 29 say definitely not. 17% don't know. Probably at 8 and certain at 3%. So interesting to see. I think that's good. The most of you think probably not. I personally just think, I don't know. Yes, conspiracies can actually be true, but doesn't seem like it to me. And as time goes on, it feels like there's less anger and outrage around that idea, and it's just one of those things that's become less prominent. Yes, that famous photograph of the falling man. That's haunting, says Darth and Eilish. Yep. Yes, it is. What's your favourite conspiracy, says Kai JMB. Oh gosh. I hate questions like that because my brain is very terrible at coming up with the answer, but I'm very interested in conspiratorial stuff. At least I were when I was younger. These days, actually, I've become way more interested in, like, science and education. Probably just the curiosity, finding the better avenue to traverse down, right? Even this latest stuff of, like, the Tic Tac, right? So if you want to lump this in the conspiracy category, that there are now US generals or ex-generals or whatever, people in the US, fighter pilots coming out, releasing UFO footage apparently, and then saying, this is what I saw, this is it. Okay, that can be incredibly convincing, that narrative. Oh, this is actually now a matter of people inside who caught the information themselves, sharing it with us, telling us what they saw, saying that these are UFOs. Very compelling. However, I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson who really shone the light on it for me. Talked about the instruments in which these videos and footage were captured. If any of you have seen it, the Tic Tac, flying over the ocean, and explained how the instrumentation they were capturing it with worked and how it can be flawed, and even if it wasn't flawed, there's a mismatch between what it's capturing and how the people are interpreting and understanding these things. Another JT says UFO only means unidentified. That is true, unidentified. MK Ultra is my favourite conspiracy because it actually happened. Yes, MK Ultra. There's also another one about a fake invasion of Cuba, right? They're from around the sort of Kennedy era with the CIA. There are some very interesting things that have been provably true that the CIA did in the 60s that's very suspect, but last bit of tea that is, it's gone cold. But yeah, anyway, if any of you have been pulled into that stuff, I can't remember what video it was specifically, but Neil deGrasse Tyson really broke it down in a fascinating way for me, where I was like, yeah, even if this is these, commanders and generals coming out talking about it, they're still human, they're still fallible, and the scientific method tends to be a very good way of showing actually how difficult stuff is to be truly provable. A lot of science is more about reduction of uncertainty than asserting truth. And the way he applied that kind of thinking to reasoning that was just terrific, I thought. And immediately it just made me go, yeah, this isn't evidence of aliens. This isn't evidence of anything, right? Other than maybe faulty instrumentation or someone who doesn't understand how to properly interpret the instrumentation, Thick Mustard, thank you ever so much for 3 months of support. Philip4534, thank you for gifting 5 subs to The Crimson Turd, I.E. Moo, Snow Wither, Quasar Activity, Cyan Ice. Appreciate it. And thank you for subscribing yourself. If you just heard your name being read out loud, be sure to say thanks to Phil in chat. We also got Trans Foxgirl here subscribing. Ray Bell of Gaming here for 2 months. Matt Zabu here for 32. Z-Proof of 2 Cowie is here for 7. Hedgehog 403 is here for 6. Wit Were is here for 3 months, saying, getting up late, I hope you're having a great stream. Thank you for being my source of Minecraft updates. Thank you, my dude. Skalinka, thank you for the Prime. Black Steel, thank you for gifting subs to Wolfbane and K Marie. Again, if you hear your name being read out loud, be sure to say thanks in chat. And we were all caught up on the noises in the ear. Thanks for hearing me out there, peeps. That's just a whole load of stuff I wanted to get off my chest, I was really young when that all happened. Oh, and I kind of forgot, the one big thing that I wanted to tell you, okay? Right, so, the day after 9/11 happens, it might not be the day after, because 9/11 is on a Saturday. So, what if it were on a Friday, the year that it happened? I don't know what day of the week it is, but when we came back to school, something just utterly insufferable happened. Okay? Now, this is from school kids, so you're probably not going to be surprised, but we had a Canadian teacher, okay? Not even American. Turns out, though, she had family in America, and because of that, she was quite distraught. I think they must have lived in the area, maybe even in New York City. I don't know, but, I was not the sort of kid that was going to be mean for the sake of it or whatever. I did not participate in this, but the other students in the class that she taught us, and I can't remember what subject it was, here's a little anecdote for you. In one of her previous lessons, she went round the room and asked us all what we wanted to do when we were older, and I have only just remembered this for the first time in a long time. It's a bit of a painful memory, really. And I said that I wanted to be a website administrator, right? And then other students in the class laughed at me. and it like crushed me a little bit. And I don't know if like a moment like that had been received differently, if that might have sent me on a completely different trajectory, right? And what I think is interesting now is like running a website today is like kind of cool. Like, you know, what they used to call us, the geeks and the nerds or whatever. Like, tech is in. The internet is king. And I kind of like loved the internet, the 90s internet when I was a kid. You know, it was a different atmosphere to what it was today. But who knows? That little moment right there, that could have set me on an entire different trajectory in life. But I just remember just thinking like, oh God, I can't even have a website. But anyway, on that day, the next day we're in school. Don't know if it was a Monday or if it were like, you know, the following day. So we have this Canadian teacher, which these ignorant students thinks is an American, and they spend the entire class, okay, throwing paper aeroplanes around the room and making exploding noises. How freaking sad is that? I remember that as such a shameful moment. Just so sad. And utterly just in such poor taste. I can't believe it. And like, she broke down into tears and had to leave the school. I don't think she ever came back, basically. I do not remember her coming back. She was an alright teacher as well. There were several teachers we had that quit because of how students teach them, like treated them, like locking them in a cupboard for an entire day. But those were different times. Like I kind of hear a bit of this and a bit of that about like what school's like today. School was a rotten place when I was growing up. Spinman says, "Damn, UK schools just hit different." Yeah, I don't know what it is. What you want to chalk it up to? A bad year group, bad generation, UK schooling. Whatever it was, there was a lot of that. Like a lot of kids who wanted to be nasty. The thing is though, if as a teacher, if you had a bit of grit to like put up with it and then push back against it, like they wouldn't persist. But they would try it on with like any substitute teacher or any teacher who showed weakness and like really like get at them one way or another. That's just how it worked back then. Like school was full of like meanies and ugh. It was you know, this is why I didn't like school. Because something like 9/11 happens and they use it as fodder to wind up a teacher and to get them to quit. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, that moment is just like so disrespectful. Logical Geek Boy says, "Not much has changed, I can tell you that." Well, that's sad to hear. I've been getting the general idea from like things that I've heard that schools are like way more inclusive and kind. Like they've like clamped down on bullying and whatnot, but anecdotal. Totally anecdotal. Also, Logical Geek Boy, good to have you in chat, my dude. Welcome to the stream. We got the Ramen Guy here with a Prime. Thank you so much, Ramen Guy. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Right. I think it's time to move on. Martin says, "I hated school, but now I'm older, I wished I'd paid more attention." Here's a thought for you. Like, I don't know what the reason for wanting to pay more attention is, but if it's like, I wish I'd learned more, you can always learn. Like, learning is something that never ends. Like, you'll never be too old to learn something. And I think learning is a pleasure, really. So, like, maybe you got an itch of, like, I wish I'd learned to do that thing. Like, don't be afraid to give it a try. The Ender Ivan says, "Some teachers in my school do get bullied often." That is sad. That is definitely sad. Captain Crunch, thank you ever so much for the Prime, and QRs, thank you for 2 months. Appreciate it. My mother is still learning, says Demo. In you know, for the most part, we're always learning. We will, like, you know that saying, you learn something every day, right? you're always going to encounter information you didn't know before. But like, what if you take control of that idea and say, well, if I'm going to learn something every day, why don't I choose what I'm going to learn? Why don't I invest time in something I'm interested in, something I'm curious about? I've been very tempted lately listening to these coding podcasts to like find a little project to get into with coding, but like you need that motivation, and when I was younger it was playing that computer game. That got me doing all sorts of like hacky stuff with code and programs and things I'd have no reason otherwise to use. Like I used this thing called HTTP interceptor to like read my web traffic so I could understand how the game worked by the way it sent like information to it, right? We used that to kind of like decode commands and then create scripts that would do all sorts of stuff. And the guy that I played with was way like almost a natural programmer, I guess, but knew how to do way more stuff than I did. And he made a program where we ran these scripts on our computer overnight and like waged war against another clan and caused loads of them to leave because we had all these like multiple accounts just continuously attacking throughout the day and night. It was just so much fun. So much fun. And I'd love to find something like that again, but these days games are different. That was like a web browser game, and I think if you had one these days, they'd be way more secure. Make mods for Hermitcraft, says Mike. Well, that's kind of, I mean, what Dead Beef does for us, right? But I wouldn't feel very motivated to do that. This is the thing. You got to have the motivation. I just have not been able to find another thing apart from game design. Game design is like endlessly curious to me. And I'm working on a couple of projects, and it'll be interesting to see how they pan out, because maybe something I'll do in the future is try and steer that more into like maybe a game development studio or something. I know someone who put a lot of money into a game. I won't say who, just in case it's not something they publicly talk about, but like when I heard that I was like, like, would I do that? Would I just like take a chunk of my savings and try and get a game made? Like, it seems very risky, but if you're passionate about a game and you know what it's going to be, then it could also be really, really fun. Random question, but what's your opinion on friend groups? I mean, groups of friends? I think they're terrible. I think we should get rid of friendship groups. Everyone should be a loner. I don't really know what your question means, sorry. Like, I mean, groups of friends are things, right? That we all have, hopefully. There are 3 gaming development platforms. I made games too, says Demo. Yeah, I've looked into those things. My issue is just like there's such a steep learning curve, and I'm more about like the creative side of it than the creating, which sounds weird. Like, you know, getting nitty gritty and coding and making stuff in the game works. That's not really me. Like, I'm like a bit more of a dreamer for games. Like, I think about how game mechanics work and interact with one another, and what sort of experience do those things make. Because I've you know, designed a whole bunch of games over time, and more so in the past, like Gold Rush and stuff, and I loved breaking down and thinking about the mechanics of all that. Jessa says, studying to be a teacher, I was on my bachelor's second semester away, but due to COVID and not enough money to pay for it. But my goal was to be a better teacher than my experience. I had teachers not care about Hispanics, minority group in general, and wanted to be the teacher that helped everyone, not just educational wise, but as much as I can. And that is a beautiful reason to get into education. Yeah, you want teachers like you who are going to be passionate about helping others. Some people end up in teaching because it's a job, and they're not that passionate. And thinking back to my teachers, a lot of them were not very passionate. You know, I wonder why. These kids throwing paper airplanes around the room, making explosion noises. I wonder why they weren't that enthusiastic. Yeah, that's what makes a good teacher. Like, that enthusiasm, that passion, that wanting to help. Doc is struggling to get deep slate with a tunnel bore and you have this huge patch lying around. Lucky. Well, it could be because I'm, you know, inside the patch constantly that it looks big, but... Yeah, I wonder what, wonder how Doc is doing with that. I mean, his tunnel bore goes at a certain speed, so I guess if, like, he goes a long time without hitting deep slate, even though it's big, that would be most unfortunate, wouldn't it? In my opinion, you made the greatest investment when you purchased Minecraft. It has paid off, says Thick Mustard. Yeah, I agree. Best investment ever. The returns are through the roof. Ironically, I pirated it at first. It's not really that ironic. I just didn't have any money. And obviously I had a little bit, but like, you know, living check to check or whatever. I pirated it, and actually the same day I then went and brought it. I was just like, this is fascinating. I have two very early memories. One is like looking at a beach with like a rocky formation on it and like a bunch of coal ore in the side of it and being like, what's that? And the other one was like digging a hole in the side of a mountain to survive the first night, right? I knew so little about the game. I wasn't even watching people play it on YouTube. I was I probably had like wooden tools, maybe even no tools, and I remember just like getting killed the first night, and then the second night I was like, I'm gonna beat this. And I went into the side of a mountain and then sealed it up, and I was like, okay, if I stay in here, I'm good. And then I started digging out the space, and then I fell in love with it. I was like, I'm carving out my own home. And then like 10 minutes later, I dug out like this pitiful little bit of area, and I just thought it was like the best thing ever. I made a staircase that went up to a second floor. I'm telling you, like cubic volume, not even as big as this little area here. It was tiny, and I thought it was amazing. And then I went and brought the game. And then I pretty quickly connected with a friend who was playing it. Started a server together called Geomine. Then at some point on Geomine, after I played on a couple of worlds, which I still have, by the way, I still have these like very first worlds that I played in, with exception to that very first one. Then I wanted to build a slime farm, and I had to look it up on YouTube, and I found Static777, and from him I found DocM and Efo, and that's like how it got started, really. The rest is history, as they say. Baby King says face reveal. If you'd like to see the face reveal, it's over on my second channel. Reese 3232, thank you for 2 months of support, my dude. Appreciate ya. Thank you. Tuki says, can you show those worlds? I believe if you go to my channel and look up the second most popular video, not the fishing one, the evolution of my Minecraft bases, I think they're the very last thing I show on that video. Because I start off with my Geomine base, then walk through like Xisuma's world, Hermitcraft, and then at the end I show these very, very first worlds. There is a possibility later this month I might do a 10-year anniversary thing and bust out some old worlds on a live stream or something. It's just kind of weird how I like periodically go back to them, and the first time you go back to them it feels definitive. It's like, we have revisited it. Cool, done, finito. But then it's like you realise time goes by, new people come along. Oh, I'm going to revisit it again at some point. And now I've revisited those things like several times over. It feels like a little strange. Keep going back there. You know what I mean? All right, we're not even picking it up anymore. Pussycat says I watched that video not too long ago. Cool. It's a popular one on the channel. Where is... I think the beacon is this way, isn't it? I'm just going to go around where we actually know where we're going. Trying to take a shortcut, didn't work. Hello, this is my first time here. It seems very calm and cool community, says Ruse Kip. You sussed it out straight away. Goodness me. Goodness me, that didn't take you long. Yeah, we got a cool community here. We also got 1,800 peeps tuning in. Be sure to hit that follow button if you're enjoying the stream. And over on the main channel, we had a news snapshot yesterday, but I covered it today. I was knackered yesterday. I'm a bit annoyed, actually. I spent so long on my feet, my knees I think they took a bit of a hit again after I'd steadily made some progress, so I'm hoping it'll just heal up over the next couple of days. My first world got corrupted on the PS4. I was crying for like weeks. Every time an MC video popped up, I had it for 4 years, now I'm on my second world. It always sucks to lose a world, right? I mean, I would say like backups, but I'm not sure you have that on a PS4. As a PC user, like backups are just one of those things that people don't bother with, and it is one of those things you should absolutely do. You should definitely have your data organized and have a backup system, because boy oh boy will you thank yourself when something goes wrong. And for me, things have gone wrong, usually at my own fault. Accidentally delete a file or something, and then it's like, oh wait a minute, I got a backup of this. It saved me a whole bunch of times. Right, I feel like we've done this for an hour, now let's go do something different for an hour, right peeps? Get a little bit more coal while we're here. Is Wells not on? Wells is not on. And that is the last of that. Hey, Beef! The one who's vintage! You might be doing something. Xisuma, the animations are incredible, says Trap Diggity Dog. If that's what you think, you gotta tune in to see the beginning of the next episode. You get to see a little bit about how the magic is made, the magic is done. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I haven't used this tough block a lot this season. I actually thought that was one of those things that I was going to go ham on. Well, Vintage Beef must be up to something. Right, that is all cobbled, thank goodness. And it takes about an hour to get almost 2 of those. And I was waffling a lot. Right, let's go sort ourselves out up top, I think. Cub said the slow mining a deep slate was a bug. What are your thoughts? It's not a bug, it's as intended, so I think you might have misunderstood him. Or is it night time? Yeah, he's literally there! And he's ignoring me! The cheek. Ow! Yeah. Oh no! The terrors have descended upon us! Peeps, are you ready for intense Minecraft action gameplay with the phantoms? I hope you are. Oh, right in the face. Right in that face. Oh, they're going for beef as well. Someone should sleep in a bed. Gah. Get wrecked. Get wrecked again. That's right, burn to death. Don't set me on fire though, that's not cool. That is not cool. And look who just popped up! Look who just popped up. What do you got? I'm buying it all. I'm buying it all. My dude, come right here. Look, I'm in the trading game. No, I do not want to be set on fire. Where are you at? Look. There we go. There we go. We got some more heads. That's good. Oh, and Nautilus shells would be nice as well. One more head, you say? One more? Oh, go on then. Thanks. Cheers. That was a beautiful thing. I think Beef's chat is off. Maybe. Maybe he'll see. Right, we're gonna go put these heads away. Do I have anything to go in there? No. I do have emeralds here. Uh-huh. Well, Beef is ignoring us. I don't know why. He answered me, did he? Oh, right. Oh, he did. Yeah. I thought he was ignoring me. Hero says, WDYM, question mark. Oh. TXYB. TXYB. Right, let's go chuck things in here. Right. Now I need a second head. Do you know what? I'm never going to use these drowned heads. Get rid of them. Get rid of that as well. See you later. Macy says, alright, calm down, pal. Don't you tell me to calm down. I'll be sarky as much as I want to be, you listen here. Right. So now we've got stupid amounts of deep slate and all of that. I will actually sort this out later. Because CBA! Oh, those abbreviations. It's Macy says, no, I was talking to someone else. No, you weren't. You were talking in my chat. Those messages are for me. Oh, you're playing games. You're playing games with me. Did Evil X give you something to drink? Absolutely not. God. You lot are conspiratorial, that's what it is. Evil X this, Evil X that. Look, just because he's got evil in his name. Yeesh. Stop being so judgmental. This has been running a while. Don't know how much of this stuff we need, but I know that I want some moss blocks. And I also want some leaf blocks. It's a deep slate conspiracy. I think when the day deep slate came out, I saw that joke on Twitter. Like, it did not take long for people to come up with that one. Right, so we're going to go put in some, like, flower boxes. I think we're going to put lights in there. I'm definitely going to need some stacks of grass. Then we're going to do some moss. We're going to make some paths with a shovel. See, look at me. I'm thinking everything through. Thinking everything through. Silk touch, there it is. I think. It wouldn't actually make a difference, would it? Yeah, it wouldn't make a difference. By the way, I was working on the building for this. We had the vote in the episode, and y'all wanted to do the one that I wanted to do, which was good, and I spent some time revising my wall design for it today, and I gotta say, like, feeling pretty confident now. I've you know, tidied up the shape a lot and thought about how I'm going to walk through the steps of creating that build, and I think it's going to be fun. I'm also going to like do it, I think, like a little bit at a time in creative in each episode, and then when it's done, I'll just build it in one go and it'll be there. That sort of approach. Yeah, the place where I want to put some of this. Ooh, I've still got the haste over here. I just kind of want to put in grass, really, going up to about this spot here, and that's it. And some of that grass will actually be moss blocks. I'm thinking of hiding some glowstone underneath the layers as well. I kind of want to make this area like safe-ish. But, you know, stuff will wander down from the hills, is what I keep thinking. Let's see if we get some of that haste again. Or not, you know, it was quite a ways away, wasn't it? Ah! Oh. The llama survived. Do you know what? Sorry. Now all I've done is made a mess. But I got a llama head. But I got a llama head, hey? And it was worth it. I should wear this llama head in honor of the llama that I got. Well, I didn't get it killed. I killed it myself. With my sword. The creeper softened it up, though. You know? The creeper softened it up. That's my excuse. For a treacherous murder. Right. More of that, please. Peeps are saying Evil X. Yeah, that's right. Evil X made me do it. You got it. There is a cave. I mean, there's a cave system down there. I don't think I actually need to remember where it is, so I'll just cover that up. I will enjoy this stream and always have. I love the community and the best audience in Hermitcraft. Wow, I agree. Best audience in Hermitcraft. Totally unbiased opinion here. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate your kind words. Lag killed it. Not you for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I was actually aiming my sword somewhere else. It just lagged. Right, it's time for round 2. So yeah, some of that I think will become grass, but we'll have like a path coming down here. And then we need to bring this thing through, which means we need the old oakage, right? So one of the first places it will go is in this direction. No! 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 Oh no. Oh. I'm on fire again. Then I think it will go this way, sort of following the natural depression here. That's right, the landscape's depressed! He was telling me about his feelings the other day. Oh, comedian. Comedian, what a comedian. With the jokes. Right, yeah, just a bit more of a gradient. So it'll move through this space. Yeah, and I was going to send it over to that side, but that's not where it is. So the path itself is going to come around here. Where it goes from here, I'm probably not going to worry about for now. It also needs to go off through this space. And then over here it splits off in 2 directions. Because the other one goes over here. Right, so you can start to see the general plan. So I think that's going to come all the way down that bit. So there'll be that connection. And then this hill here, I think I'm going to trim back massively because the entrance to that thing, I don't know. Let's see what happens when we remove some blocks. Just give it a different bit of shapeage. I guess the path though that we're looking for, that comes to this bit here. So we just want to consider that, I guess. This landmass has changed a lot, by the way. I've done a lot of digging over here. Yeah, that looks kind of alright. Next bit to poke out the way. Push back, here's where the stone is. And I think we'll keep going with this. Now last time it was night, no one slept! Is it my duty to sleep then? Oh, look at this, my inventory's full up already. Who would have thought that could happen? Well, I'll tell you what, peeps, I'm trying to stand up, but, like, I've been knackered today. I had such a long day yesterday. I think I'm going to sit down for the rest of it. Scootsy says, what are the plans for the rest of the stream other than killing llamas? Well, we're working on the paths in this area. But, I'm thinking, what should we talk about? Let's have a chat. Oh, there we go. That's nice. What did you have for tea? Just had my first madras. It was hot. I had some spinach cooked with garlic butter with some chicken katsu curry rice, an egg, and then I had yogurt, fruit, and a protein bar for dessert. That was it. Not too glamorous. I had a couscous stew for my first meal of the day. That's all I've eaten today. I've started cutting again for September, and then probably going to try and bulk and change my workout a bit for October. But man, I just feel ravenously hungry today, which might just be because I'm a bit tired and I've not had great sleep lately, or it could just be because less food going in, right? The ethical implementation of nation building. I don't even know where to start with that topic. X, I'm struggling to bulk and put weight on. Any advice? Says Drew Dude. I mean, eat a little bit more of healthy foods, right? Get a few more calories in, get your protein in. And if you're bulking as in trying to put on muscle mass, I'd recommend looking into the science of like what different type of lifting does for you. Because if you want to just put on mass, you want to set up your program in a particular way, as opposed to like strength and power and stuff. Oh, hang on. I want to get rid of this. Did I just do this a second ago as well? Like all of this is going to come down to this level. So we have like a big flat area here. That gives me the opportunity to maybe make some sort of central plaza garden-y area, something like that. Yeah. LazyCon says peanut butter! With an exclamation mark. Peanut butter! Just like that. Making muscle is easier when you are fat like me, says Matabello. I don't know that's true. It's easier to put on mass when you don't have a lot to begin with, and then as you gain more with time, it gets harder. I don't know if being fat really contributes to it or not. But certainly, if you start out with not a lot, it's easy to put on newbie gains, they call it. You know, you get those newbie gains. And then the more you put on with time, it kind of gets harder to put on more and more. That's a myth, says Simpson fan. No, I don't think it is. I mean, to what extent can you prove what I'm saying? I don't know, because like the science around, what do they call it? Sports science it's there. I don't know like how big of it is, and it also deals with some incredibly big sort of, you know, people are very individual, and your metabolism and all that sort of stuff, you know, it can be very individual. However, there is a lot of data on it, and this stuff does seem to have a lot of backing to it, if you like. Ty Jahelm says it varies a lot from person to person. Well, let me put it like this: of all the channels that I follow that talk about this sort of stuff, newbie gains I hear over and over again. It's like I haven't heard someone go, "That's a myth," before, and maybe you're right. Maybe it isn't really quite as a thing as you might think, but it comes up a lot when talking about like new people going to the gym. Like, you know, I've watched videos for like people where it's like, hey, if you're getting into doing this, here's what to expect. And one of the things that comes up is like, you'll see a lot of gains in the beginning and then it'll get harder. What was this? I heard you rapping earlier. Doc's stream music had some weird Hermit Gang rap. Highly entertaining. Yeah, that was Hermit Gang. Hermit Gang, yeah. That's the whole thing. It's the video of the song is on Doc's channel if you want to go check it out. It's awesome. Right, what stuff do I not really need here? Got another one, eh? Gonna throw more of this stuff away. Want to do a bit live, says 43 badgers. Lyrical boxing. Dropping blows on all my foes in the G team. They're looking unclean, needing some sunscreen. Oh, because they're getting burnt by words as I heard the nerds and go. Oh, that was some lyrical boxing, wasn't it? Jeez, God, busted up your face real good. Real good. With that lyrical boxing. The J-pop song from Jono is so good. Yeah, it's awesome, that song. I was wondering what song it was Mumbo was on about, being from Fast and Furious, right? Because the Tokyo Drift soundtrack, I love that soundtrack. I used to listen to that loads. In fact, that is going on a playlist for tomorrow. Maybe that'll be like my workout music. Dang, I haven't listened to that in a long time. I don't remember if it was the whole soundtrack, but I definitely remember there were like a couple of really awesome songs on that thing. And they had that Japanese influence because of the location. Right, let's do this. I've been listening to the hour-long version of Mumbo's song all day. God. I don't know if I could tolerate it an hour at a time. Yeesh. However, I don't think I've ever really listened to any song just on repeat constantly. Probably Meshuggah. Meshuggah would probably rack up the most repeated listens. In fact, now I think about it, New Millennium Cyanide Christ would probably be the song I would probably listen to repeat on obsessively. Meshuggah is like the one band that unlocks the primal instinct in me. And I get deeply obsessed with every time I listen to them. Sir Ripoff says, who's Hermitcraft Alt? Hermitcraft Alt is a shared account for doing OP stuff. Alright, I'll probably make that more interesting later, but for now, we'll have a path that goes there. I need to get out my slabs and stuff for paths, right? But I kind of want to focus on getting some bushes. We also got to build those things, but I think bushes will be first. Let's mess about with what it looks like when we throw down this stuff. William Muffin says OP stuff. Yeah, you know, I don't know what the reason will be, but like something goes wrong and you need to fix something. It's Minecraft. It's a buggy game, as I'm sure you're aware. That's immediately nice. I do worry just maybe there's a little bit too much of this moss. So maybe what we'll do is we'll throw down like either side of the moss patches. And then get rid of the flowers, and then maybe bring over some other blocks later on. But a keen thing I also wanted to do around here, and I really would like to keep some things together. Becca says, Meshuggah is OP stuff. It really is. It's like hacking into the membrane or something. It's like they went, oh look, here's the rhythmic part of the brain. Let's just fire up those neurons with this riff. And then there's me going, oh god, listening to this crazy polyrhythmic groove. Yeah, yesterday was a Meshuggah day. It happens periodically. Something will set me off. I was listening to a podcast, and at the end of it, they kept talking about music and like how music defies science or feels like the one mystic thing. And I was thinking, yes, and then I started thinking about Meshuggah, and then I was like, now I have to listen. I feel like what we need is a variety of leaves, not just one type. Lemon has subscribed, thank you. Okay then, let's continue like that didn't just happen. There we go, I've got 4 to pick from now. God, spoiled for choice. A random account just got whitelisted. That is probably because there is a reason to whitelist that account, right? Need a bit of a pick and mix type thing here, I think. I am wondering if maybe just having them like flatten off is alright. I think it makes you notice more that there isn't something at the back. Anyway, I don't want to do those too symmetrical and frequent, so the next one we're going to sort of put over in this space. And I'm out of trapdoors straight away, and it's nighttime again. Ah! Do people ever eat lemon alone? Well, I do, because I'm alone at my house sometimes, and I have lemon in my salad or in the food. Actually, there's something I haven't done in a while. I haven't brought some lemons to have in salad. Oh wait, I wanted trapdoors, that's right. Oh, there are some funny messages in chat. What do we need? Some of this? Some of that? Rap with some of this and some of that. What song is that from? Let's do this. There you go, that's plenty. Until we run out. Hey, we got Not Savage RB here with the Prime. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate you subscribing. Thank you. This one can have them all the way around. Also, I really need to get those lights in here. Oh, get out of it! God, I was just trying to play Minecraft. I said, no, I do not want your shovel. Keeps trying to sell me a shovel, this guy. It's like over here, that block there. Let's make it a glowy one. No! You are not listening. Okay. Ah! So yeah, that's kind of nice. Maybe we'll do like a little 4-1 here. Ooh, let's get some flowering in here, like... Oh no, that's wrong. X, how do you find the inspiration to write music, says Skutski. I mean, it's just there. It's music, right? My brain always thinks about music. Don't need no inspiration. Inspiration is what it is. Don't want too much of that two-tool stuff. The way Moss sort of like deploys a bunch of blocks kind of makes me feel like bone meal could be like very interesting if there were different types of it that did different functions, or just more blocks like Moss, I guess. It'd be nice to have like a bone meal that didn't throw down two-tool grass or flowers, you know? Yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of the two-tool stuff. It looks a bit too overgrown, and I kind of want this thing to look more lush. Certainly good so far. I do feel like there's going to be other blocks that need to come into this block palette as we get going as well. I'm going to put another patch, like, here. Which will, yeah, it'll spread up there a little bit, which is fine. That's kind of perfectly done. But once again, the inventory is full of blocks. Oh, gosh. I like your streams, says Tacmania. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. Skutski says, I try my best to make music, but I always give up too quickly. Well, why is that? Like, are you not able to, like, transpose the thing you got in your head? I always found making music very organic, sort of like Like, even if I couldn't quite get out the thing I had in my head, it was just fun to, like, goof around and make sounds and noise and compose. And I found a really cool composition a while back that I was writing. After I made my first record, I started working on some other sounds for Dungeon Synth, and I was doing this, like, war-themed one. Like 1800s war. You know, ships and horses and cold weather and undesirable conditions. And I hadn't heard it in ages, and when I heard it I was like, dang, this was like onto something. This is a sound. I can roll with this. Kind of fun to like find it. Where are we at? What are we looking for? What was I doing that made me come over here? I think I wanted some oak slabs. And I've got precisely 0 oak slabs. I do have stairs though, which might actually be a good fit as well, though. Now I think about it, not really. Anyway, let's make it a slabs, as they say, apparently. Swagsy Desiree, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate ya. Appreciate ya. Thank you for the subscription. Yeah, actually no, I think the stairs would fit in fine. The Loro Base says, is this on the Hermitcraft server? No! It's all a trick! It's all a trick. I just called it the Hermitcraft stream. Oh, I'm so clever. Oh, how have I spoofed those other hermits playing on here? What trickery is this? What tomfoolery am I up to now? Oh, what will I do next? What will I do next? I've completely forgotten what the question was. Have you ever tried dragon boating? Have I tried dragon boating? Dang, I mean... What is dragon boating? Oh yeah, another key detail is to actually throw in the occasional 1 or 2 of these, right? Always makes it a little more convincing that way. And so we'll put one there. Kind of feel like I would like spruce across all the front there. Guys, there's so many blocks you want to juggle, right? You can't keep them all on you at once. It's annoying. But that is definitely a step in the right direction there. Kind of starting to look like I want it to. For some reason, dragon boating makes me think of getting in an ender dragon into a boat. Sort of sounds about right. By the way, we've got 2,100 peeps tuning in. Thank you everyone for coming by. Be sure to hit that follow button. Hit it with your fist. Go on. No regrets. Break that monitor. What? What was that? Huh? Let's continue placing blocks. I'm going to start soon. I'm excited. Any tips, says Mythical Beastinator? Start Minecraft? Start streaming? More details are required. And if an electric train is moving north at 100 miles per hour and the wind is blowing to the west at 10 miles per hour, which way does the smoke blow? I believe it blows west at 10 miles an hour, right? But the illusion would be, because it's heading north at 100, the smoke, you'd think it's going back, but actually it's just going up, so it falls behind where the train is. So it just goes west 10 miles an hour, right? Or maybe there is some sort of pushback on the smoke as it comes up, and so it goes backwards and west. I'm not sure. It's an electric train. Right, but the smoke is still blowing out of the train. Sorry, I did not get fooled. Okay, electric trains can bellow smoke as well. Have you not seen an electric train with a smoke machine on it? Or one that's on fire? You lot think you're so smart. Oh, it's an electric train, but we never specified it, did we? Oh, did we? Oh, well, Let me tell you this, electric trains, they can bellow with smoke. God. And I just wanted to do the science and learn an answer. Oh, bunch of comedians. Who do you think you are? God. Right. Cindez, thank you so much for the prime. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you not trolling me like these other weirdos in chat. God, why are they watching me, eh? Why are they watching me? I'm a derp. Yeah, that's looking alright. Most electric devices work on smoke. Once the smoke leaks, they don't work anymore. Maytand Neil says, I watch the Watcher. Now that's creepy. God. I feel like X's path blocks are brighter than mine. You might have moody lighting on, I don't know. Let's put that there. Put one here. Might make sense to throw the occasional moss block in just because it's going to like a block in the area, right? And we got Quant75 gifting a sub to an arrow in the knee. Thank you so much for that gifted sub. Appreciate you supporting our community. Thank you. So does anyone actually have the answer to that question? Because I was thinking about it and I was like, I'm a scientist. I want to know the answer. I'm a science person because I use my noggin. If a Minecrafter mines a landmine, what does a Ninecrafter? What? I watched your snapshot. Did you do any testing with Riptide Tridents? It can make Elytra's nether break. I did not, but I read my comments and saw people sharing that. I think it's just one of those things I didn't think about. It wasn't in the changelog, so I didn't really like think about going near that. That's one of those things that I struggle with a bit. Like, there's so much stuff in the game. When they add something, sometimes I remember, oh yeah, test it with this, test it with that. But a lot of the time, just, I don't know. Don't quite remember all the possibilities, right? The smoke would be blowing 10 miles an hour westward, says Aurelia. Thanks. I hope you are correct. Because if you're not, we're in big trouble. No, we're alright. Still waiting for archaeology. You might be waiting a couple of updates on that one. I'm glad I got started on this. God, I keep like looking at it and thinking, oh god, it's going to take forever. But once you get going, it's like, now this is here. The rest don't seem so bad, right? Opinion on the new Marvel What If series. Someone hasn't been to my streams before. I don't really like that Marvel comic book. What is it? DC is the other one. I don't really like any of that stuff. I like my movies though, and I'm going to watch the Matrix trilogy. They're my next 3 movies. Because Matrix 4 is coming out. And to be honest, like, I feel kind of excited. I just feel like it's been so long. I've got a feeling, I just got this feeling like, this isn't a quick sort of, let's add to the whole Matrix thing and make a couple more movies. It's been so long, it just kind of feels like maybe they had a really great reason to make this movie. And there's so much that's, I think, happened between the Matrix and now that kind of makes some of the ideas in the Matrix a little bit more relevant than ever. So I just got a feeling there might be some potential here to do something kind of like quite meaningful with all of that again. You have to watch the trailer a couple of times. There's so many little details hiding it, says Mealish Cat. I watched the pre-bits to the trailer on the website, if you pick the red or the blue pill, but the most they seemed to have was just like flashes of like split seconds from the movie and something about a date. Like I didn't really inquisit much in the way of secrets, but I haven't seen the actual trailer that's come out today just yet. I think I'm going to try and hold off and watch the movies tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. A movie a day. And I like to give movies my full attention, but I think maybe the first one, depending on how I get along with it, I might just like watch it at the computer, if you know what I mean, while I'm getting some stuff done here in the Minecraft world. Give it half attention, because I've seen The Matrix just so many times, you know. It's such a classic movie, and you know, don't when you've seen a movie that many times, you just sort of like jog in your memory. But I'm very, very interested in watching it again. And we got noises in the air. Furo Ranan, Cuckoo Khan is throwing those cheers and those biddies with no message, but thank you anyway. Don't know why I'm singing. It's just a wonderful day. Okay, right, enough of that. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate the cheers and bits. Appreciate them. Appreciate them. Let's do a little 2 right here, yeah. And let's get a bust out the glowstone. Oh, X busting out the glowstone. This is so exciting. Go on, I'm gonna tweet about this. Right, here we go. Oh, work of art. Okay, brilliant. By the way, they sort of poke through. Well, don't poke through that one, do they? They poke through these ones. I guess that one's smaller, isn't it? Huh. I've not noticed that before. And then maybe something similar here. We got a donation here. Noise in the air. More singing. More singing. Lauro Bay. How many hours a day on average do you think you spend playing Minecraft? Thanks for being you. Appreciate it, my dude. Appreciate it. Let's see. On average, over time, it's changed, you know. First of all, thanks for the donation again. Like, back in the day, when I wasn't as active and I was at the computer a lot, it was a real, like, all day. Kind of like, Season 2 Hermitcraft, I was probably playing, like, 10 hours a day. Easy. These days, more like 6 or 8. I don't know. It's really quite hard to quantify, because some of it is streaming. And then I break it up a lot. Like, I'll have like a chunk of time in the morning, like 3 to 4 hours, and I'll break it up by getting around, walking around, doing little jobs in between, so I'm not just static all the time. And then like in the middle of the day, again it gets broken up by like working out and eating, so I might just get like a couple of hours here and there, and then I stream in the evening, so that's a couple more hours. I don't know. It's kind of like. Oh, right, okay, let me go check that. There's something important going on. Just need to see what's up. Okay, sorry, I've got to check out this thing with Mumbo. And I can't remember what we were talking about. Because of important business and stuff. I think he left, says Footlonghawk. Who left? Right, this is looking nice. It definitely needs some like 2 tall flowers in it somewhere, I reckon. Right, answered those messages for Mumbo. Feel like I want another one. Another little box, just here. Trying to avoid those symmetry traps a little bit. Just by nudging it back a bit. Mumbo is CEO, you know. Yeah, he's CEO. That's very true. Okay, we've got more dark oak there. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't snapping up the last of it, right? Yeah, as for time spent playing Minecraft, like... It's weird. When there was that Joe Rogan controversy a while back, right? Where he was saying, like... I think a lot of people misunderstood him as well. He's a former gamer addict. Like, I don't know if he said it quite in those words himself, but like he used to play Quake and get way too into it. And that clip went around of him basically saying that like gaming's wasting your life or whatever. And like I partially lean in that direction, that I play certain types of games and I feel like they don't stimulate my creativity. They just sort of feel like a temporary distraction. And so I don't like putting time into games like that. And sometimes I see people like, oh yeah, put 1,000 hours into this game, and I'm like, oh yeesh, you know. Not being seriously judgmental, but a little bit of that sort of reaction, because I don't want to do that with a game that I think wastes my time, right? Minecraft just constantly like engages your creativity. It's all about like ideas and inspiration, and that just feels like such a great space to spend your time, that I can't like really feel like I'm wasting my time. But some other games, I don't know, like they do feel like a waste of time that I get sucked into, like those Gemcraft games that we streamed. And streaming those games is a little bit dangerous because it gives me a very good excuse. I can be like, oh, streaming's my job. Oh, I better play Cookie Cutter or whatever it's called, Cookie Clicker. Anyway, like, what I would say to all of y'all is to think about what you are doing with your time when you play computer games, because you do need time to have fun and chill out. I've done a little bit of that myself lately with the Monster Hunter game, right? And I've been thinking about that correct and like going into it like, yeah, I need some relaxed time. Let's enjoy this game together or whatever. But, you know, what happens when there's other things you could be doing with your life and all you do is play games? That can be a problem. And that's something to think about. I don't think what you should do is say like playing games is good or bad, but like educate on all the possible things that you could know about games, like that you might not think about. Like you might not think about how addictive something is in those terms. You might just, oh well, I want to play it, so I will. And yeah, it's important that, you know, you have a healthy understanding of how you're spending your time, because games can be addictive. And the thing with playing a game is that, you know, life is the real game, right? And games are just sort of like challenges on easy mode. Like all of this, the real game is doing it in real life. God, I haven't built a single building in real life. I treat life like a game when I play to win, says Samet. That sounds good, although it depends on what the objective of that game is. Tay says, as someone who only really plays Minecraft nowadays as my video game choice, I think for me, games are good when I play it with my family. Yeah, like a social reason to play a game, that's awesome. Do you know, I could use these to grow a couple of trees in this area, which I think I might do at some point. I think, yeah, socializing is a great reason for playing games as well. They can be fun, you can share them together, it can be a good experience. It's not a one-sided thing, right? For me, I'm just like all too aware of like how engrossing a gaming experience can be without me actually doing anything with my time. And I'm kind of fearful of that. I want to be like productive and whatnot. I think a few of these blocks here and there might spruce up the place, make it look a little more fantastical. Although the other thing is that like oh no, that does look really nice. Because you got them sort of contained to the bushes. Maybe what I should do is have like a bit more of a separation. Like oak ones go around like this, And in our other bits, we put in the azalea. And maybe something dark, like a little bit of contrast. Let's try spruce in the mix. Any movies you would recommend, X? Watching many Al Capone and De Niro movies lately, says Give Me a Name Switch. Yeah, I would, I'm a international movie database type viewer. Like, a lot of the movies in the top list on there are my cup of tea. From multiple genres, right? I tend to go to that website for reviews and whatnot because it tends to line up with the kind of stuff that I like. But here's a movie that I've been meaning to watch. I found that, I think it's on Amazon. It's called The Man from Earth. It used to be free. They used to give it away. I don't know if they still do that on torrent or whatever, but The Man from Earth is just a fascinating movie. It all takes place, like literally the entire movie, in a room, but the dialogue is so fascinating. It's a real thinker. It's a real thinker's movie. And I'm going to watch that one again soon. Although, at some point, I would likely just get back to like movies not being the highlight of a week or whatever. Go out and do something. I'm going to a gig, actually, in a couple of weeks. Super looking forward to that. It's going to be a bit weird. Like, going to London and going around. And be like, oh, is this really normality or is it an illusion? It's looking pretty good around here, isn't it? I really don't like the too tall grass. And I feel like this is needs a bit more this and that here and there. Yeah, that's all looking pretty good, isn't it? As a music fan, you should watch Sound of Noise. I watched it and I wasn't all too impressed. It was very much a character piece movie, more than it felt like it was specifically about music. I mean, either of those things can make a movie good, but as a character piece movie, I'd seen quite a few of those, so it's kind of like, yes, you know, this sort of movie. I mean, not to put it down, just sometimes you watch something and it's like, I've seen that before, or I've watched a bit too much of that lately. Oh yeah, I haven't exactly left room for these things, have I? I like that design, but I feel like I might want to change it a bit. I'm not sure how. Do y'all like it? Do y'all think it's good, y'all? Do you watch the Marvel movies, says ELO Twitch. Someone wasn't here a minute ago. No, I don't really enjoy those sorts of movies. And I get it, they're like immensely popular, but it's just not my thing. Right, let's go put them in grass. Oh, I had spruce on me the whole time. I could have been doing a little bit more detail with that. Put some strip logs in the path. Oh, genius! That's a great idea. So I came over here just to grab some of that as a way to nudge myself. Right, I'm going to put down 14 of these as reminders of where the lampposts are going to go. What about manga anime? Do you like that kind of stuff? Nah, I'm not into that stuff either, really. It's kind of weird because I've like watched a lot of stuff on the origins of anime and manga and some of the people who have pioneered parts of it or whatever. Like, I find the documentaries about that stuff like super interesting, but the stuff itself, like, I don't know, it doesn't really like tick a box for me, I guess. Have you seen The Game? Yeah, I saw that one. That was a great one I saw a long time ago. It's actually on my list for like a rewatch. I get around to it. So yeah, we've got 3 in that area. I feel like that one's going to get taken down, so we'll ignore that. Next one, definitely here. And And then another one sort of here, a little bit raised up. Oh yeah, and we need to strip that oak log thing. What about Harry Potter? Yeah, Harry Potter's awesome. Ghibli films, I tried those. I watched one and like I got bored very quick. Maybe I picked the bad one, but yeah, gave it a try. Have you heard of Star Wars? Oh god, not Star Wars with the Klingons and god, the Prime Directive. God. Rubbish, rubbish. Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park's a great movie. There's some from like the 90s that are just like just wonderful. Like you can probably write them off as being a bit like easy entertainment or whatever, but they're fantastic. Yeah, Jurassic Park's one of those. Twister, there's a movie I want to watch again. I went on the Twister ride in America when I was a kid. This was a great addition right here, great addition. I like this. Right, and I do have some spruce wood. Back to the Future, yeah, they're awesome. Now, who directed Back to the Future? Can you tell me that? Can you tell me that? This little bit here makes me feel like there would be a cut across. Yeah, let's add a tiny cut across. So people are saying Spielberg, but some of you are saying Zemeckis, yeah. Robert Zemeckis. It was a while back I was watching a movie and I looked up the director and it was him. Yeah, Spielberg often gets credited for that one, but he just helped produce it. Yeah, Zemeckis has directed a few other good ones as well, I believe. And I am out of the grass, so I'll just put that there. Definitely going to have one here. It's shaping up quite nice. Don't want them to be too frequent. The next one is definitely going to go here. And then maybe one or two around the back here. Let's have one there, I think. We could also hang little lights off of these bits. So I've got 5 left, peeps. I think, because I don't know what I'm doing on this area here, I want to avoid putting too many in this space. That being said, there's all this light coming off the building. And then another 3. I think we'll have... Oh yeah, there's this building as well, so there'll probably be one about here. And then one over there. Yeah, that's where we're going to end up putting those. Sleep in a bedtime. Use less stairs to get up. I don't know what you mean by that. Clickbait on Netflix is very good. Isn't that a series? There's always stuff to watch on Netflix. I haven't really been watching series or anything much, apart from that 9/11 series. I just feel like it just feels weird. It's like you always spend this time watching something, and it almost gets a bit like, oh, how many things have I watched? Like, and how's this different from anything else? Gets a bit repetitive, I guess, maybe. There we go. You know what I mean? Just always watching stuff. I get a bit sick of like trying to find something to watch. Put those things in there. That was a really good start to this area. Like we we put in quite a few concepts that really work for it. And we'll put some more concepts in on Saturday morning when I'm next streaming. Oh my goodness me, it's the end of the stream. Peeps, be sure to hit that follow button if you've enjoyed it. And apparently you're looking at the zoom sensitivity button right now because I goofed it all up, didn't I? I goofed it all up. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. Your support is always appreciated. Thanks to all of my patrons. Thanks to all the peeps gifting the subs. Now, is this thing updating? Because apparently Doc is still live. No. Gonna send you over to Music Man, whose music we've been listening to. So, if you want to keep those good vibes rolling, that's where you want to go to. That's it. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.